Hi, I'm Warren Yates at yatesbanjos.com, and today I'm going to destroy a banjo neck. Okay, here's the deal. I am going to destroy this banjo neck, but for the reason that it doesn't sound like it's supposed to. And anytime that you're doing research and development and you're trying to do things to find a better way, it's more often than not that things don't work out. So, as much as I love the feel of this neck and I love the look, the sound isn't there. It's just wrong. So I'm going to salvage the parts off of it that I can, and I'm going to rebuild this neck. So I'll be able to show you step by step how to destroy one of them and save the things that you need to keep. Well, the first thing is to salvage the parts that you're going to reuse. And of course, some things have to be out of the way before you can actually work on it. So we'll just start stripping it down. Okay, we will remove the nut. Okay, so I'll go to another fixture at this point and we'll go a little further. Now, you might say, well, why wouldn't you put this neck on another banjo rather than trying to salvage parts? Well, if it sounds bad on one banjo, who's to say it's going to just magically correct itself by going to another one? It's just not what you do. One thing, if my name is up on the headstock, it's not happening. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm removing the frets, and the tool that I use is just, I don't know what you call them, little pair of pliers that I've sharpened the edge so that I can reach down as far as I can. I reach under it and try to push downward to keep the fret from ripping wood. I pinch inward, and then as I pinch inward, it lifts the frets. Because I don't want to destroy the board. This is a beautiful piece of rosewood and beautiful inlays. I'm not going to destroy that. I'm going to reuse it. So I've got to strip off all of the frets and get it back down just like it was a new build again. I can't use any of the frets because the binding is in the way. The last fret has now been removed. It's time to remove the binding. fingerboard should be strong enough to hold up, and at this point it doesn't matter what happens to the mahogany up under it. So these pieces that rip off, it doesn't matter, it's trash at that point. Gets a little tricky when you put the side dots on because they're drilled in, so you chances are have to cut those. The binding is now gone. Remove from my fixture. And I'll take my lags out. This is a nice little trick to be able to take your lag bolts out. I've taken a piece of hex material, drilled and threaded it to the same threads as my lags. You take 2 wrenches and lock them together. Then with your drill and a nut setter, you can remove them and not damage any kind of threads. It's not like taking the old pair of pliers to them. Okay, so that's pretty well stripped down. Now it's time to start cutting. If you can see on the end here, this is where the truss rod goes. So what I'm going to try to do is slice this neck off just below the truss rod and see if I can pull it out from the bottom side. I'm going to go ahead and cut the headstock off of it, and hopefully, if I've done what I intended, I've set the truss rod far enough back in there not to cut into it with my blade. Did rub it just a little bit, but it won't hurt anything. Isn't that what you want to see happen to your banjo? Okay, if I'm lucky, I can slice this off and not get into the truss rod. You can start to see that truss rod is now in view, but I think what I'll do is I'll sand it a little bit and remove some of this rather than taking a chance on the bandsaw again. Also, if you save this other piece, it gives you some kind of visual aid to be able to match the color back if that's what you're doing, is replacing one. Okay, now I need to salvage the overlay, and with any luck I can get it off of there and save all my fingers. It's a good idea to count your fingers to make sure you end up with what you started with. So if everything goes okay, you will get to see this video. If it does not, then you will not see this video. Okay, obviously this worked. Uh, don't try this at home. Remember, I am a professional. That means that I do stupid stuff all day long for a living. I'm going to try to remove this rod, remembering that I still need to not destroy my fingerboard on the other side. I'm going to try not to destroy the truss rod because I might be able to use it again, but that's not my primary goal. You know, you can heat up a fingerboard and you can wet it, and if you're using a glue that water can soften and heat, then sometimes you can peel them off, but it just seems that I've always had more trouble knowing that I'm going to throw the back of the neck anyway. But my fingerboard ends up having some kind of a defect, or maybe it bows up or something like that from putting those kind of pressures on it. Chances are it got a little bit of glue on it, and that's what's making it stubborn. It's got to be it that's stubborn. I'm certainly not. I'll argue with anybody that says different. Okay, I was able to remove it, but I don't feel comfortable using this truss rod anymore because I did put quite a bit of stress on there. So it's another one of those cut my losses before anything bad happens. Well, now I need to trim off some of this extra wood on the back. So let's go do that now. Well, as it turns out, I still have all my fingers, but I'm not through yet. I'm going to go to my thickness sander and I'm going to sand all of this off flush and get it back down to where the fingerboard was when it was in its first ready to install position. Okay, I am done. Just a little more trimming to do by hand. and it's ready. It's back to basically where it was when I started. And at this point, once I decide the piece of wood that I'm going to use and get it back up to where it's, to the stage ready to be glued on, then I'll be gluing it in place and I'll carve the neck to it. So, and then once I do my refinish work and refretting and stuff, then I'm going back and not trying what I tried before, the reason I had to destroy it. Normally, I would not have gone through that kind of trouble uh, to be able to salvage something, but that was a very special piece, an expensive piece of rosewood. So in this case, it worked out. And my biggest issue now is when I glue it back on, making sure that I glue the nut area to be perfectly matched up to where the headstock goes, or else things start getting small real quick, and once it becomes the wrong shape, then it's junk again. You may not have the opportunity next time to be able to correct it. Anyway, I hope you learned something. I have all of my fingers, so I can pick now as badly as I did when I started. Um, keep doing what you do, and I'll keep doing what I do. And until next time, this is Warren Yates at yatesbanjos.com.